In this video tutorial, two-dimensional arrays will be explained. A two-dimensional array, which is sometimes referred to as a table, consists of both rows and columns of elements. We can use arrays to represent tables and matrices. As an example, consider the array of numbers shown here, which is a two-dimensional array made of integer numbers. This table is made of 3 rows and 4 columns. To reserve storage for this array, both the number of rows and the number of columns must be included in the array's declaration. The declaration of the two-dimensional array here is shown. We can see that the name of the array is table, and it is made of 3 rows and 4 columns, and the total number of integer elements are 3 times 4, 12 elements. So the first element is table 0, 0, the next element is table 0, 1, and this continues, and the last element is table 2, 3. There are 2 ways we can copy values into the elements of the two-dimensional array table. One way is to initialize the values while we'll declare the array, and the other way is to input values into the array through a nested loop. You can see here in the declaration of the two-dimensional array table, we have initialized values into the 12 elements of the array table. To access any element of the two-dimensional array, a nested loop is required. So for this example, if we wanted to display the two-dimensional array here, we will use a nested for loop. The outer for loop is used to access the rows of the array, while the inner for loop is used to access the columns of the array. You can see that the header for the outer for loop, the counter I is used as the index for the rows of the array, while the header for the inner loop, the counter J, is used as the index for the columns of the two-dimensional array. Now, to display the two-dimensional array, we will insert an output statement within the inner loop of the nested for loop. This output statement will display the ij element of array table. Now, when we run the program, the output we get is this, which is our two-dimensional array of integer elements. We could also initialize values into the elements of a two-dimensional array by inputting the values via using a nested loop. As you can see here, the ij element of array table is inputted within the inner loop of the nested for loop. When we run the program, the code will ask to input the 12 values to be copied into the 12 elements. Let's say the values are 1 to 12. Now, when I press enter, we will see the table array displayed at the output. In future video tutorials, I will explain how we can use two-dimensional arrays to represent matrices and perform basic operation on matrices. This concludes this video tutorial.